Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe, and we're back with another action figure review. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends X-Men Weapon X from the Caliban Build-A-Figure wave. And this wave has started to hit stores over the last week. They've been popping up at Targets, at Best Buys. I've seen a couple people say that they found them at Walmart and Walgreens. So they're popping up all over the place, but it's a very popular wave and it's still very hard to find. I've been trying to go to stores daily with very little success. Obviously, I've been able to find a couple, so I am very happy about that, but I still haven't been able to find Beast, and that's the one that I was really trying for. So hopefully I could find him in the next couple days or so. I do have him pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store, so you know, if all else fails, I'll get it there. But anyways, let's get into this because I'm very excited about this whole wave. So here we have Weapon X, and here he is in the packaging. He looks very nice. It's the standard Marvel Legends packaging. It looks very good. You can see the figure, the accessories, all that cool stuff. On the side, we have some really cool looking Weapon X artwork that I am a big fan of. I think that's awesome. I like when they do the artwork versus just putting pictures of the figures. I think it's very cool that they do some artwork. And then on the back, we're able to see all the figures that it takes to build Caliban. And then we have a little character description and some more artwork. And this all looks very nice. I'm super excited to build Caliban. Hopefully I can do that pretty soon here. One thing I do wish that they would include on the packaging is credit to the artist, because I don't see like a signature or credit or anything like that. And I think the artwork is incredible. So I think that the artist deserves their credit. But yeah, I don't see it on there. Maybe I'm just missing it. But anyways, very cool stuff. But let's get this guy open and take a look. So here's Weapon X unleashed from his plastic prison, and this is a very nice looking figure. He does have a lot of reused parts from previous Hasbro Wolverine figures, but I'm okay with that because I think they've done a good job on Wolverine in the last couple of years, so I'm perfectly happy with them reusing parts for this figure. But yeah, let's take a look here. I like all the details on him. He does have some hair painted onto the chest. It isn't sculpted or anything, but I think the way that it's painted looks really nice. Same thing on the arms. You have some hair going on there. And even on the lower legs, you have some hair too. So I think all of that looks really good. And then up here you have this harness piece. And what's interesting about like all these things that are on him, it doesn't seem like they were meant to come off. And I think that's kind of strange. You would think that they'd want that to be easy so that you could have like a, you know, another version of Wolverine pretty much. You'd have like a like a Wolverine in his underwear running around. But yeah, no, this stuff doesn't come off. I looked for a long time on the belt. There's really no way to unbuckle it or anything like that. I'm sure you can modify it somehow to make it happen, but just out of the box, it will not come off. So I thought that was an interesting choice. And, you know, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all these things staying on and staying in place and things like that. But if that was the case, I kind of wish that they would have made it so these cables plugged right into his hand, kind of like the Toy Biz version, rather than having them on these like bracelets, I guess. I don't know what you want to call them, but these like wrist guard things. Because having that makes it seem like it's supposed to come apart, because you could pop his hand off and, you know, these things could come off if you want. But you can't really do that with any other part of the restraint setup or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, anyways, I'm perfectly fine with leaving them on. And it's really cool. This figure is like a lot of fun to mess around and pose and play with. None of that stuff really gets in the way. And I like that a lot. It doesn't like fall off or anything like that. You could get him in all kinds of cool poses. I mean, you have to shift this stuff around to manipulate it how you want, but you don't have to worry about any of these things falling off. So that's cool. And then he does have the very nice Hasbro Wolverine claws. Mine did not come too bent out of the box here. This one, nope, I'm a liar. But yeah, check that out. That's a little bent. But yeah, I think the claws are pretty nice. I think they'd benefit from having more of a metallic paint job, but as they are pretty cool. And yeah, this is a really good figure, a very nice sculpt. I like this short muscular sculpt that they've been using for Wolverine. And yeah, it works great on this Weapon X figure. And let's take a look at this head sculpt here. And I think this looks really nice. I like the way that the helmet looks and stuff like that. The facial expression is a little plain. A lot of people have mentioned that, and I agree with them. I think this figure, it would have benefited from having a head with like a, you know, a screaming face with the helmet on, or if they would have made it so the helmet could come off and then be attached to the alternate head or something. Yeah, I don't know. I think they could have, it would have been nice to have a head that was screaming and like more aggressive with the helmet on, you know, that would have been awesome. But as is, I do like this helmet a lot. You've got the hair sticking out from the back there. You've got all like the gears and things going on. You have like a little antenna. You have like a microphone thing or like a talking piece. I don't know. But yeah, very cool stuff. And this does come out so that you can pop the head off and put the alternate head on. and this doesn't really stay secure in there, it just kind of hangs out, but that's okay. When you're like moving the head around, it's not like it wants to pop out or anything, so you know, that's fine that they did it like that. But yeah, the details on this figure are very nice, and yeah, I'm happy with the way that it looks for sure. For accessories, he doesn't really have too much, but he does have the Caliban right leg for the Build-A-Figure, and that looks like it's going to be cool, so I look forward to putting that together. And he does come with one alternate head sculpt, and I think this head sculpt is awesome. I feel like it's getting a lot of hate in the action figure community. People aren't really feeling it, but I disagree with all that nonsense. I think it looks great. They were definitely going for a more aggressive, feral, savage type of look for Wolverine, and I think they captured that nicely. And it's just cool to have a Wolverine head sculpt with some emotion in it, you know? I think this is really cool. And I like his hair, how it's like all crazy. Usually he has like the 2 points on the top, and he doesn't have that here. Just kind of looks like it's going wild, and he didn't get a chance to get his points done up or whatever. And then he's got like the crazy like sideburns. It's really hard to describe his hair. I guess these aren't sideburns, but you know, he's got these side pieces hanging out. But yeah, he just looks wild and crazy. I do kind of wish that there was maybe some more hair or stubble like in the chin area just to make it look a little, you know, more crazy. But you know, as is, I think it looks nice, and it definitely is accurate to how he looked in the comics when he was kind of feral and insane. So good stuff right there. And you do have some possibilities when it comes to head swaps, because you are able to stick this alternate head onto other Wolverine bodies. So here's a look at the head on the Wolverine from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave, and I think that looks really, really cool. And then now here we have it on the body from the Wolverine from the Legendary Riders series. And again, I think that looks really cool. Even though the skin tones don't match perfectly, I think you could pretty much get away with it. Actually, on camera, it looks like it matches up fine. In person, it's a little bit off, but for the most part, I think it looks pretty good. And then here's one of the heads from the Legendary Riders Wolverine on the Weapon X body. And obviously this is a repainted version. I wasn't a big fan of that head. I thought it was okay, but I thought, you know, adding some battle damage to it made it look a little cooler. So there's that, and it kind of fits with the Weapon X body like that. So that's kind of cool. And I wasn't able to put this head onto the Old Man Logan body because the jacket and the hair, they kind of clash with each other. And I couldn't get it on. Try one more time here. See if we can do it on camera. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work. But, I mean, I guess that would have looked kind of cool if we could make it work. Yeah, that's about as good as I could get it. Still too high, but I guess if you want to modify it, you could get it on there and it would look okay. So now for some size comparisons, I have him here next to the Marvel Legends Tiger Stripe Wolverine and the Marvel Legends Old Man Logan. And as you can see, he's pretty much the same height as them. And the same thing could be said for the Wolverine from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave and the Wolverine from the Legendary Riders series. If anything, the Riders series Wolverine might look a little bit bigger because of his hair. But for the most part, I think that Weapon X scales pretty well with other Hasbro Wolverine figures. And now here we have him with the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Series 6 Wolverine and the Marvel Legends Deadpool from the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure wave. And then now here we have him with the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And next up we have him with the Mezco 112 Collective Standard Release Wolverine and the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Wolverine. Here we have Weapon X next to the Marvel Legends Toy Biz Face-Off 2-Pack First Appearance Sabretooth, and I would love to see Hasbro take a stab at that look for Sabretooth, and if they do, hopefully they do it on a different body than they've used for Sabretooth in the past. I think that'd be awesome. But anyways, there's Weapon X next to Sabretooth and the Marvel Legends Omega Red from the Sauron Build-A-Figure wave, and that figure makes, I mean, he looks like a giant next to Weapon X, so I think that's pretty cool. For one last size comparison, we have Weapon X along with the SH Figure Arts Infinity War Hulk and the Hasbro Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Sasquatch. So here's a quick look at how the Hasbro version of Weapon X compares to the Toy Biz version of Weapon X. And I've always loved this Toy Biz version. I feel like it's a very good figure, even by today's standards. I think that it looks nice. It's held up very well. It doesn't look as awkward as some other Toy Biz figures. I think it's aged pretty well. For the most part, I think the only thing that looks outdated is the ankles and the hand articulation. But other than that, I think that it's a really good figure. And I've always felt like I would never need another Weapon X figure because this one satisfies that need. But I will say that the Hasbro one is far superior in my opinion. I think the articulation is a lot better. I feel like it's more comic book accurate, and I do think that he's a lot more fun to handle and play with because these things aren't falling off. With the Toy Biz version, these things are constantly falling off, and I've purchased multiples of these figures. I think I've had 2 or 3 over the years, and these things always break and stuff like that. So, you know, that kind of sucks sucks with this figure. As you can see, it's a struggle to keep this little peg in there now, but for the most part, I think they're both awesome figures. So if you already have the Toy Biz version, you know, I wouldn't blame you if you don't feel like you need the Hasbro one. This one is perfectly fine. The Hasbro one is better, but I'd say that the Toy Biz one is still pretty awesome. And there are some things that the Toy Biz version did do better than the Hasbro one, especially in terms of details and stuff. Check this out. You have the like electrode, or I don't know what you want to call them, but these little things on his chest that are actually sculpted on there. And then like his hands have like a bunch of dirt on them and stuff like that. Same with the feet. Actually, you can't really see it that well on the feet. Actually, there's not much of it on the feet now that I look at it close. I always assumed there was. I guess I never took a close look. But on the hands, there's a bunch of dirt and stuff, as you could see. So some of the details are nicer on this version, and same thing on the like these little packs. You could see there's a lot more color and better sculpting and better paint than there is on the Hasbro version. So, you know, Toy Biz was known for the detail that they'd put into figures. So, of course, you know, there's going to be some more paint apps and stuff like that. Hey, he's even got painted nipples, and the Hasbro one does not. I just noticed that. But yeah, I think for the most part, the Hasbro one is a lot better. Mostly because the playability and the comic book accuracy, in my opinion. The Toy Biz one is accurate too, but I mean, I feel like this the Hasbro one just looks better and he's funner to play with, so he wins in my book. But both of them are awesome figures. And one more thing that should be noted, I do feel like the Toy Biz one came with better accessories than the Hasbro one. The Toy Biz one came with this really cool thing that you could actually attach the figure to, so that is very awesome. And he also came with an alternate head, which I don't have handy, but I'm pretty sure he came with an unmasked head, so there's that. But it would have been cool if the Hasbro version came with something like this. But, you know, as it is now, that I'm just going to replace this Toy Biz one with the Hasbro one, and he's going to hang out with this thing, and that looks pretty cool. So there we go. The articulation on Weapon X is pretty good. Like I mentioned before, he basically has the same body as the previous couple of Wolverine figures that Hasbro has released, and I've always been pretty happy with that articulation setup. So I'm happy with what we have going on here with Weapon X, but let's get into it. His head is able to move side to side. The movement on the head is a little hindered because the hair's sticking out, so you can't really get him to look up much at all. That's basically it right there, and then it's stopped by the hair. But you can get him to look down to about right there, so that's pretty cool. And there's a little bit of tilt to it, but not very much. It's on a ball joint, so, you know, you get a little bit of tilt out of it, but that hair really gets in the way. But, you know, I'm fine with that. I don't really mind that he can't look up. You could always get him to look up using the torso joint there if you'd like. And speaking of the torso joint, it does crunch forward to right there, and it comes back to right there. So pretty good movement on the torso joint. And then you have a waist swivel. And then for the arms, you have ball jointed shoulders that would be able to go around. Actually, they can go all the way around. You just got to twist this thing, you know. But yeah, his arms could go all the way around. And then you have the upper bicep swivel. And now I think my my wire here is all jacked up. I'm going to have to fix that later. But anyways, he does have the upper bicep swivel. He does have double jointed elbows and a hinge at the wrist. He has a swivel at the wrist. And for the legs, let's see here, you can't really get them to do the splits. They only go out to the side to about right there. The belt's definitely in the way, but you could shift it around, so it's not too big of a problem. You could bring his legs forward to right there. Pretty nice amount. You could bring them back only to about right there. Then his butt sculpt gets in the way. And then you have the upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, no lower leg cut. You have rocking ankles that are able to come forward to about right there and then come up to right there. So the articulation is really good on this guy. Oh, and I forgot to mention, he does have the butterfly shoulders, which is awesome, which is probably my favorite part of this body. So that's really cool. You know, I got his belt and his wires all tangled up here. I'm gonna have to fix that later. But yeah, really good articulation on this guy. I guess the only thing that is different from the articulation on him and on the previous Wolverine figures is that this doesn't have the lower leg swivel, and some of the other Wolverine figures do because he has a boot and it's easy for them to do it. I mean, I kind of get why they don't do it on this body. It would kind of look ugly just here on the bare lower leg, you know. But as it is, you know, I'm fine with the articulation. I think they did a good job with it, so I'm happy with what you're able to do with this figure. So overall, I'm really happy with this figure. I think that Hasbro did a really great job with it. I think that it's a very nice update over over the Toy Biz version. Even though not all aspects of this Hasbro version are better than the Toy Biz one, I think overall this is a much better figure. He's a lot more fun to pose and play with. He looks less awkward than that other version, and he's just really well done. I just think some of the details on this figure aren't as nice as they are on the Toy Biz version, but overall I like this one much more. And like I said, he's a lot of fun to handle. You know, that's the big thing about this figure that I like so much. I don't have to worry about all the pieces falling off or anything. All of it stays on him, on the figure itself, very well. So he's just a lot of fun to pose and mess around with and take pictures of. And I'm already a big fan of what Hasbro's doing with Wolverine. So I'll be honest with you, I'm down for as many Wolverines as they want to give us. I'm not one of those guys that gets upset when they give us a lot of versions of the same character, especially if it's an iconic character like Wolverine that has been around for so long and there's so many different versions of him. You know, I'd be down for every single version. So hopefully they keep it going, and hopefully they keep including different kinds of heads that fit on all these bodies, so we could have like a bunch of interchangeable heads. I think that's really awesome that every time we get a Wolverine figure, it has a different kind of head. Even though they haven't quite nailed a good unmasked Logan head, I think they've given us a couple pretty good head sculpts. So yeah, in general, I'm very happy with this figure. It's not a figure that I ever thought that I would need, but even when they showed it, I wasn't like, oh, they wasted a spot on another Wolverine. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I can't wait to see how it compares to the Toy Biz one. And yeah, I'm happy to say that it's much better. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And also be on the lookout for some more reviews from the Caliban Build-A-Figure Wave. I haven't been able to pick up all the figures, but I do have a couple more that I'm going to be reviewing in the next couple days. So make sure to check all that stuff out. And that's it. Thank you so much. Peace.